What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to DC Unplugged, and today we are reviewing the Dragon Cruiser. This is a really cool commuting scooter. We're going to run through this exactly like every other DC Unplugged review we do. Basically start at the top of the bars, show you way through the scooter, tell you some specs, and yeah. So definitely watch until the end of the video because we're going to tell you some pros and cons to this scooter as well. So yeah, anyway, let's get cracking with this review. So up on the top here on the bars, we have this little instrument cluster. So pretty much we just want to hold the power button. Up on the screen here, a little green line will pop up, which then allows us to use our NFC card key that comes with this scooter. You get two. You simply just tap it on the screen and turns on the scooter. We get a lot of stuff, but we'll get back to this display in just a second. Here we've got our power plus to minus to go down into gears or modes. So we've got 3 in total. We've also got indicators, a little horn. We've got our rear brake, our front brake on the far right, and obviously our throttle. I have got this set into instant throttle, so this scooter is able to be instant throttled, which is handy. Moving along the bars, we've got this really nice NFC obviously display. It does show a lot of information, which we will cover that in later on in the video. So definitely stay tuned throughout the video. We've got our thumb throttle here, and then obviously these really nice grips, both front and left and right. Coming down, we've got the gooseneck here. We've got this little flap here. This is actually for the folding mechanism. And if we actually follow the contour and the design of the scooter, it actually kind of slightly bows on here. So I guess I assume that's for more comfort. Along the front here, we've got the folding mechanism. This is actually a really, really nice folding mechanism, really easy to use. So we just kind of push in on this little button here, and we just push towards the camera there, which then allows us to fold the scooter down. We fold it down, and that little thing we've seen before just literally just sits in the back rear mudguard, clicks into place, and you can just grab it by here. Super light scooter, really easy to maneuver, so if you need to go up a set of stairs, very easy to actually pick up. Folding it back up is just the same thing, but in reverse. We just push it up. The cool thing I like about this folding mechanism is if you leave this up and you push it forward, it automatically wants to put itself in, and all good to go. Safety latch is engaged as soon as you click it in, and she's all ready to rock and roll. Following further down the stem, we obviously come to the front of the scooter. We've got suspension, air shocks. We've also got cable brakes, which are 120mm, both front and back, which is actually really cool to see on a commuting scooter. Following down, we come down to the deck. The deck is reasonably sized for a commuting scooter. We've also, as you can probably see here, we've got these keys. Now this is really cool. We've got this little lock pad here. And if we push this open, it shows a little keyhole. We grab our supplied keys from Dragon, put that in, unlock it, and then we grab a little handle here. And this is a removable battery pack, so we can actually charge this battery pack without it being in the scooter. So if you put your scooter in the garage and you want to charge it elsewhere, if you live upstairs, downstairs, have a 2-story house, this is going to make it really, really easy for you to charge the scooter away from it. Putting it obviously back in is straightforward. You just push it back in, clips in, we lock it up, put that down, put the little latch down, and you're good to go. Simple as that. Going further down the back here, we have, again, 120mm disc brakes with a 500-watt rear motor here. Speaking of this battery here, it is a 48-volt, 10.4 amp hour. So this is actually pretty good, decent. You're probably going to be looking at around about 30 to 40 k's of range, depending on where you live, obviously with hills and stuff like that. But with all that stuff I've just said there, we'll cover all that later on in the video. This is just simply having a look at the scooter, but that's pretty much it for this side of the scooter. Let's go for a ride and see how this thing is like. Okay, so straight off the bat, the tires on this scooter, the road tires, they feel incredibly smooth. The steering is super light, feels very intuitive and very premium. There's no creaks or rattles. Now the screen suffers from a little bit of glare, which is actually pretty common with all screens. This one in particular, even though in direct sunlight, I can still see what the screen is actually trying to display. And I really have to take a good mention out of this. The rear motor, the rear 500-watt motor on this is super impressive. The way it just delivers power is like, it's got a lot of torque. and it actually is able to handle some quite decent hills with me on it. Now whilst riding along, you can very much tell that this scooter only has front suspension, as it is rather stiff in the rear, and you're naturally gonna feel that anyway because it doesn't have any rear suspension, and you're mostly relying on the tires to give you some sort of buffer. But if that doesn't really bother you, then the rest of the video you are actually going to really love. Some nice things to note as well with this scooter is the deck height is actually quite low to the ground, making it easy actually to step on and off the deck of the scooter. This can be very helpful and useful for when waiting at satellites, starting to kick off and go again. Now you're definitely not going to win any races going up these said hills. However, it does and will with myself on it and all my camera gear. I ended up weighing myself on my 105 kilos with all my camera gear, and it still moved me quite decently along quite a few hills that are around that I tested on. Now speaking of moving along on a private road in Mexico, of course, I actually managed to get the Cruiser to 42 kilometers an hour, which is actually really impressive considering this is a single motor 500 watt, so that's super impressive considering. Now for the really cool part of the video, we are going to get into that screen. So a few years back, if you were to get something like this, like an entry base model kind of like urban scooter to get you to and from work, you would have probably not even had a screen. You would have had like this little digital display just with 4 dots to tell you how much battery life you have. So now the technology is starting to grow along. We get to see really cool stuff like this. So let's have a look at this screen. So pressing the power button, we can actually skip through our OD. We've got our current trip we've got there. We've got a voltage readout. So it looks like a U, but it's actually meant to be a V. So that's actually, it's sitting at 49 volts. Really handy to have if you don't know what all this means down the side here, like the light bar. So fully charged is 54 volt. And when you're absolutely gonna like kill the battery and it's gonna shut down on you, you're looking at 41.5 volts. So 49, we've actually still got quite a fair bit of battery in there. Moving along, we've got run time. So it's currently been on for 40 minutes and it's counting up. This is basically like any error codes. We've got none, so that's what E00 means. There's no error codes at the moment. And then we come back to the OD, which is in kilometers. Pretty much everything else on here, so we've just got our kilometer readout, so that's going to tell you, how fast you're going. If you go up and down, we can see up the top there, we've got gears and whatnot. We've currently got this unlocked, so it's in state, it says it's in normal. Usually it'll actually say eco, but this one, yeah, is unlocked for this testing purposes. All right, so I already know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, DC, but like, what's it like at nighttime? Well, let's do a quick transition, let's find out. And just like that, it is now nighttime. As you've probably seen, this thing looks really, really cool at nighttime, but let's get you on board and let's see what this thing looks like at night through the eye of that lens. And I will make sure that that camera is exactly what my eyes can see, so I'll dial down with all the stuff so you can see exactly what it's like at nighttime. So that way you can kind of get a rough idea. Now, I have ridden it already. Look, it's not that great, but it definitely works. I've seen brighter, but if it's just to get you to and from and real quick, yep, that light will definitely do perfectly fine, but you can see for yourself. Let's have a look. So as you guys can see in front, that's pretty much exactly what I can see. You can see the water kind of reflecting, and the light blue lights on the side really do shine bright. But yeah, that's the front. They're not too bad, they're pretty decent. That's the concrete wall that we got there. There's a fence line towards the water. So, and that's the footpath in front of us. And if I pick up the scooter a bit more, yeah. So if I tilted the lights up a bit more, definitely look a little better, kind of like that. But yeah, that's not too bad. Overall, you can see everything's nice and clear as day. So you can see everything at night time. And you're very, very seen. That's with the brakes on, it flashes. But yeah, you're very, very visible during the night, which is great. And you have a pretty decent headlight too. which is good. So guys, that is a wrap on this beautiful Dragon Cruiser. Now, if you did like this content, you did like the video, or you want to see the unboxing of this scooter and you haven't seen it yet, I'll leave that right up there for you to have a look at. But feel free to like and subscribe, and it will give you more stuff with this scooter or many other scooters to come, or even e-bikes as I've done in the past. So if you haven't seen those, definitely have a scroll through the old YouTube channel, and we'll see you all in the next video. See you next time.